Hi all, welcome back to more of The Other Side of the Hill solo. It's my part 27 now. So just the day after 26. I watched back 25 last night. I've uploaded that. Looked okay, although I had a comment. I left a comment in the header regarding, let's say I moved things about differently. I think it was okay. I think what I done was I temporarily overstacked Turkey, didn't I? No, was it? No. No, I temporarily overstacked Romania, Bulgaria, didn't I? But what I did was I had left at the time. Yeah, because these were all in here, weren't they? At the time, I think I just left one army in here, or was it? Oh, you know what? I can't even remember now. I think I could have done it in a different way so that the general didn't go away. And I'm not so sure if it matters that or not, because the command step's right after movement, so it'd probably be that you can put the general back in, but it might mess about with things. I'm not quite sure of that. So I think I could have done it the other way about to avoid removing the general and then having to put another general back. But again, that is another way of thinking about possibly shifting generals about, isn't it? By making it so there's only one army left, so he gets removed, and then you might be able to place somebody different in there. Because there's a vacancy there, eh? So, anyway, I'll just say that we done it round the other way and everything was fine. The other thing I just realised, and this is from the last part, 26, was that we, in the strategic warfare of the winter of 1942, we drew a strategic event, and that strategic event had the USSR commitment track moved by one. Now I think that was really unlucky. Not impossible to have, because there is quite a few of the cards, but one, we might not have rolled a strategic event on the strategic warfare die roll. And the other one, we might have got a strategic event that didn't move this, because by moving this, we were then in the winter of 1942 facing the Soviet offensive, and I want to say that our 4 combats, 4 of them had the winter reduction that only happens in the winter. So if we had avoided that strategic event to move into war in the winter, we would at least got through that winter. We would have been 4 units stronger, because we took a reduction in 4. I mean, there was no combats. We took a reduction in 4 of them. And also, then moving into the spring, and let's just say that we then did USSR commitment track did jump up 1. Then we're past the winter, so any of these symbols that come up, special effects for the winter, wouldn't have affected us. So I think I was a bit unlucky, but maybe I deserved it for not starting things when I should have. But anyway. Okay, well, yeah, we're going to be right up against it now. Like I keep saying, I realise now we're now trying to hang on for the next. Well, this is only 42, so 42, 43, 44, 45. So I don't think, I get the feeling I'm not going to make this, but you never know. I don't think that was a good start to things. Anyway. But, okay, so where are we at? We're at the military directive objective check and operations phase the winter of 1942. Right. Okay, so we do have a military objective to check, and it was Fall Orient 2, the conquest of Iran and Iraq. The prerequisite was Axis controls Egypt, Turkey, or Caucasus. We controlled Turkey. The objective was to take Baghdad. We have achieved the objective of taking Baghdad. So we are now going to do Iraq, Iran occupied, 4.7.1a. We're getting a fanaticism bump this time. That's right, that's what that is. Yeah. So we're going to get +1 to fanaticism. The other bits don't count. You gotta watch that one, because it's attached to all these. I think I said that before. I think the very first time I was messing about with the game, I missed that. So might have been better if that was, I don't know, I suppose based on the card, it's based on the card, but because none of these apply to us playing solo anyway. Okay, so we're going to do Iraq, Iran, Occupy, but let me just, while we're there, also just bump my fanaticism up by 1 then, up to 5. And we'll look this up, 4.7.1a. So 4.7.1a, page 22. Remove the ally control disk and the alignment marker in the area. So that comes away and that comes away. And then we move the access control disk in the area to the highest numbered sector if not already there. Well, it's not already there, so that gets to move to Tehran. And then place an occupied alignment marker in the area's alignment box if not already there. There's not one already there, so we're going to do that. Oh, we get a resource back. I didn't actually realise that. That's really good because we lost a resource as well, didn't we? With another strategic event, I think. So occupied, and then if the area has a resource symbol, add 1 to the resources value in its track if not already added previously. Well, we didn't add it, and it does have 1. So that's good news because we had just dropped back to 13, so we can bounce back up to 14 with that. So that makes that a bit better. And then that's it. We've got our fanaticism bump. That's this card done for the game. We don't need to. This goes in a discard pile. That's our military directives check. We go to supply. There's nothing of issue here. Supply in this game is reasonably. Yeah, I mean, you maybe start seeing it if they come up through Italy and cut us off here in southern France, I suppose, if that's what was to happen, if, you know, if we ended up in here and couldn't trace back. Mind you, that's a Festung sector there anyway, so maybe that can't be cut off either, you know. Well, let's just say you moved, well, actually, northern, no, but if I can trace to there, no. Well, let's say that they came up through Italy, or even they took southern France. Then, northern France is connected to southern France and Belgium and Holland, Grant, so which are both Festungs. So they would have to cut both of them off for this to become isolated, I suppose. And I don't. There's maybe other areas that it could happen, possibly on the Soviet side of things as well. But the main ones, I suppose, were down here, and we lost Libya a while back, and so everything else. Taking this hasn't had any effect because we're connected right through there. This still connects up through there. So yeah, no issues with supply that I'm aware of. Then move on to victory check. There's nothing to look at there. I think that's just to see if we happened to the collapse of Germany was. I think that's the main check there. Or I think I spoke about this way earlier in the game. I don't think there's a check where we can win the game right now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not the case. It's just to see if you've lost the game right now. So that was operations phase of the winter of 1942. So we're now moving on to the spring administrative phase of 1942. And let's just push on a little bit. I hope to get this part done today. And at least one more part. Because I do have a bit of time. Although, if I'd got certain things done yesterday that I ended up not getting done, I might have had far more time. But I'm going to have to go and do a few things. But I should get at least another part done today. So there should be 2 or 3 bits coming out. Okay, give me a sec. Alright, I'm just nibbling away at a bit of breakfast. That's not much. A coffee and a shortbread. So, bombing in Germany. That's where we're at. Yeah, still no issues with that. Track's still at 5. That is an area we've got lucky twice now with that event. It's came up twice where we roll the dice and it hit the strategic warfare twice. Or this would be down, we'd have to move our replacements down by 1. So that was lucky, I suppose. If you look at the unlucky side of things, you've got to balance it up with the lucky. Okay, moving on. German replacements. Right. Well, we certainly need this. Alright, and that's at 3. Sorry, well, the Wehrmacht replacements are at 3. Right. That's the big one, really, here, isn't it? Right, let's see what we can shore up. So, well, we've got 2 straight up replacements. We probably want to try and utilise some of these. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to get any more armies. Just to look at the actual box here, what's left, you can see there's 2 Panzer armies left. One of them we did have in play, but because of that project, we had to get rid of that. But you can see there's only 1 other regular army and 1 reduced army left. I suppose you must be able to get them back. I mean, they haven't been eliminated. Because if they come off the map, they go back in the force pool, these ones. So, well, this one got removed from the force pool. Yeah, one of them. But I dare say, unless they've left, it might be that there's 3 spares. Some games do that, don't they? They have 3 spares. But it might be that there's a card that could bring some of them in. But I suppose we've got to just consider what we've got just now. Okay, well, looks like, I mean, well, offensively, what are we doing? I mean, you could just chuck, oh no, I can't chuck Barbarossa in because it's summer, isn't it? So, yeah, so can't do Barbarossa. No, hold on, yeah. Can't do Barbarossa 1, season is not summer, right, okay. Well, it's wanting the season to be summer, should I say. You know what we're talking about. And then Barbarossa 2 requires us to control 2 USSR areas, which we do not, so can't play that. So we've got, and Conquest Moscow, prerequisite is control at least 2 areas as well, so can't play that. So the only one we can play is this. Offensive in Libya or Egypt. Was it Sonnenblumen Ada / Ada? So combat points area 27 or 28. Offensive in Libya or Egypt, right? Well, we can't do Libya because we're not here or here. We don't have control of either of these. So it would only be in Egypt, which means that we're coming from here. I suppose we should do that, eh? Try and take a bit more territory, and because we are eventually probably going to get knocked back, but the more we've got ahead, you know. So what is it? After the objectives check, return this card to the military directive card deck, even if it is successful. So it doesn't really matter if this succeeds or not as well. The objective is any allied controlled sector adjacent to an Axis controlled disk. Is that not already the case here? Or am I being silly? I want to sort of feel like it is, but I mean, maybe it has to be adjacent in the area. I think I spoke about this already. Any allied controlled sector adjacent to an Axis controlled disk. This is an allied controlled sector, and it's in the 1. It's a bit sort of backwards here because you know, we're in the 2. It feels like you should be in there to be adjacent to this, but that's not the case. We're always in the highest, aren't we? Is that right? Is there something not quite right about that? I think this connects to this, doesn't it? If we attack from the Middle East, which we're adjacent, into Egypt, we're attacking into this. Well, clearly we are, because that's where the, yeah, because they take the lowest spot and anything higher they control, and when we take it, we take the high spot and anything lower we control. Yeah, so right now to me, this feels like this would complete as it is, even if we attacked and didn't win the battle, then the objective would still be complete, I think. I'm going to leave that here, but I might need to look more into that. But if anybody wants to... Right, hang on a sec. Yeah, so I think come the time I do this, I might want to be double checking this, but if anybody wants to answer that on the video and tell me that I'm getting that right, if we try this objective, we put a combat pawn in there, we have an attack, and let's just say that we fail, and we end up staying in Damascus and there in El Alamein, doesn't that still achieve that objective? I guess, yeah, that's the question anyway, at the 15-minute mark, if you like. So, I mean, it only gives you an air naval control +1 in the southern front. However, that's not the main purpose of this. It's allow you to attack into this area and possibly take it. Thing with this area is there's no objective to, like, it's not like take Cairo and then you get to take over. So we'd have to come in here. We could come in here and end up in Cairo, pushing into Suez, but then we need to wait till the next turn, the next year, in fact, wouldn't it? Because this goes back to the military directive card deck. Yeah, and we need to play this again the next year to then have an attack again on Suez. And then obviously, what if we took Suez, we could then play this again the following year and maybe try and go into take Libya. So it's a slow process, but... Well, anyway, that's the one thing we could do. And this is all about replacements right now, isn't it? So I suppose maybe we should put something in there. I don't really want to use... Well, you could put a Panzer army there, Grant. Because you've got Rommel, that's 2 Panzer armies in there. You're attacking into rough, mind you. It'd be nice to have the 3 armies if you're going to go on the offensive, though, wouldn't it? Oh, let me come back to that maybe. Well, oh no, here's the other thing. We don't need to care about this anymore. As was, again, I think I spoke about it recently, and Martin reminded me that they can't come down and attack here. This is a safe spot now. Is it a part? Oh, it's not even partisan. So we don't even need to leave an army there. That's good. Just looking about, all our satellite armies are in partisan area. Well, there is actually that one there. Just again thinking that we could, if we could get a satellite army in there. Well, let's hope we can roll. And where's it? Romania, Bulgaria. Well, that would be perfect. No, I tell you what, Grant. Maybe just as well looked at that. If we rolled and got a satellite replacement, we can't put in Romania, Bulgaria because it would be overstacked. Oh, that's rotten, but I'm not... I can't... The movement comes later, doesn't it? Damn. Because that then could allow me to move that into there, freeing up that reduced unit. So... Well, you'd have to put in it. You'd have to get the one from Italy then, and put in Italy, and then I suppose you could... Oh no, this is the Southern Front too. So I could just move that. Yeah. Air naval control on the Southern Front's 1. That's not good. Right, I'm way ahead of things that I should be. Yeah, I suppose what I'm thinking is I can move one of these down, can't I? Why don't I maybe upgrade? Well, where are the other problems? Spain is obviously another consideration, but I think I wanted to sort of reduce these. I suppose I'm thinking about maybe adding one here because we are going on an offensive again rather than sitting on the defensive. But I mean, we can get an army here. That's full, but it could be upgraded. We could get an army here, and that's full. I think this is probably more the area we need to concern ourselves with. So I think... Yeah, I really do think I should take... So I'm going to upgrade one of these. That's 1 replacement. and I'm going to add the 4th Army to there. That's 2 replacements, and I think the other one's going to be here now. Maybe I just upgrade. I mean, Poland's rather weak as well, isn't it? Not... I think having the full set of armies is probably better though, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to take a chance on that, I think, and put the 3rd replacement in there. Yeah. Well, hang on. You talked about maybe moving the Poland satellite army. Yeah, that doesn't matter though, does it? No. Let's just go with that, I suppose. Where am I? I'm at the wrong bit here. Right, hang on. I think I'm just going to go with that. Like I say, we can do something. We can move. We don't need to leave anything in here. So, just limited movement here. Mind you, I could always strategically move, because that's always going to be at a 5 at the moment. Anyway, that's our Wehrmacht replacements. We've got 2 Luftwaffe replacements. Well, here's a chance to move up that air naval control in the Southern Front, Grant, no? Not winter anymore, so we do want to get out of these 1 boxes. The eastern one's on 2, western's on 3, and southern's on 1. So we definitely want to move the southern. This one, if we want to move the southern twice. Well, we'll definitely move it once, and either 1 more there or 1 more in the eastern, I would think. See, all the combat cards, there was never any combats, was there? Yeah, that's not to say there won't be some though, Grant. Because if that gets knocked down to 1, it means they're getting an extra dice every time they do have a combat. Oh no, they're not. Remember, they're the Soviets. Yeah, they don't benefit from that. Where? Let me find that in the rulebook. Like I pointed out in the last part, it is a wee Western dice. And I'm sure it came up in one of the other videos I watched. Let me just find it though. Yeah, so it's on page... this is page 27. 6.3 Allied Combat Role. And here's the modifiers here. And you can see the 3rd bullet down there is... If the Western faction is involved in the combat and the air naval control value in the combat front is 1, add 1 Western combat die. Do not add this die if the current season is winter. So it does specifically say Western faction, and that's why the dice is the blue Western dice. That makes sense. So we don't need to worry so much about that. So I think we will put the southern... Now, movement-wise, well, yeah, I think I might move. Well, remember, we have realised you can't move unless you're adjacent. So, I mean, what are you going to move? Really, you're only going to be able to move. Well, that's a partisan, so that needs to stay. Unless we can get... If we can get that satellite army down there, like I've said... Well, we're just about to go into satellite replacements too, so that could change things if we get the one in Italy. Well, that means we want, if we got 1 in Italy, we move 1, 2. So we want at least 2, which we've got. I think that's probably fine then. Am I wanting to move about in the west, in the eastern? Probably not. I've got things sort of set, haven't I? I mean, if anything, maybe get a regular army into Poland instead of... Yeah, possibly. That would mean... So, if we get the satellite army into there, then move that into there, then move one of them into there. Well, that's assuming that satellite army is... I actually think here I might... Well, hold on though. We've got combat in... When we get attacked, we're getting attacked in only Middle East now though. So there's only one combat. But if they still get an air roll first, knock that down to 1, then we are going to suffer. Yeah, let's do that. So that's the other Luftwaffe replacement. I think I might want to move more in the east, but I think we'll play it that way. Right, and then strategic warfare replacements, unfortunately, is only at 1. We're sitting at 1 though, so it goes up to 2. And that's that. Right, then we go, and this is quite important this time, I think. Satellite replacements. I think well, not that we didn't want to see it before, but I think we do now. So there's an Italy one and a Romania, Bulgaria. So there's 2 countries with satellite armies available, so we're rolling 2 yellow dice and want a hit. Yeah. So come on, let's get some die rolling going. Come on. Yes. Blank, but a hit. Right, good. So now we can take one of these. Place one satellite army on the map if at least one hit is rolled. Place army in any of the country's home areas with land supply. Okay, so, well, unfortunately, like I say, I can't place one in Romania or Bulgaria because it's going to overstack. So we do have to take the Italy one, which is fine. So I don't think it matters where we put it. Southern Italy or Northern Italy. This doesn't really matter, I don't think. So I'm going to put it in Southern Italy. And now I think I'll be able to move that from there to there, freeing up this. Ben, it's probably not clever leaving Southern Italy empty, Grant, is it? Because landings can happen now. And if they're to land there, you've got no armies, then that's trouble, isn't it? Yeah. I probably need to seriously consider that as well. Well, we've got Northern Italy that's exposed here as well, haven't we? Well, it feels like if they are going to land, they're more likely to land here before here, aren't they? I'm pretty sure the priorities will be... I mean, I'm saying historically that's probably correct, but I'm not quite sure how it all worked. I know they did land in Italy, didn't they? But I'm not sure how it all went down. Some of you guys probably won't know. So yeah, I might actually not be moving this when I think about it, and maybe trying to consider getting something in here at some point. Maybe that's where that other satellite army should actually come from. Because I think... Because if they're to land and we've no armies, where is that rule? It's pretty bad, isn't it? Let me find that rule. Yeah, it's here, I think, page 25. I think it's this rule here, isn't it? So this is combat resolution. Undefended area. If an area with an allied combat pawn does not contain any Axis armies... Remember, satellite armies are Axis. It doesn't say German armies. Apply 3 Axis retreats starting in that area. If there is a general marker on the OB head box of that front, which there would be, flip it to its question side. So apply 3 Axis retreats starting in that area. Ah, yeah, of course. Right, okay. So, for instance... I mean, if they were to land here right now, we've no armies, we've got to apply 3 retreats. Man, there's no rolling of dice or anything like that. I think it's just we lose the battle. They would land in there, we would go back to there, wouldn't we? And then we'd have to retreat from Munich 3 spaces, which I don't know, I suppose we'd have to go into southern France, wouldn't we? Anyway, you can see that's bad. At least if we've got a satellite army, at least, or an army of anything, then at least we'll sit there and roll some dice. I mean, we're probably still going to be up against it, good style, but it might not end up with 3 retreats, you know? Okay, so more bad things to think about, basically. Right, we're moving on. Production table. What am I at? 30 minutes, right. Right, production table. Well, I thought we were going to have to be adjusting things because of that reduction in our resources, but we're taking Iraq, Iran, we bumped that back up again. So what are we playing? Well, there's only one military directive, and it costs 1. So as long as that's at 1, well, that's good. We can reduce that down to 1 then. Right, let us look at political directives. Now, USSR's at war this time, so well, we got this. Status of France is Vichy. Fanaticism +1. That just costs a 1. So it boosts our fanaticism. So does this one. This only costs 1. Commissar Order. The USSR is at war. That applies now. Fanaticism +1. And then you got bribing generals. After playing it, Return to the Day. That's unrest -1. So each one of them costs 1. So I mean, technically we could play all 3 of them if we bumped that to 3. But I sort of feel like there's no need to. I think I'd be happy just playing 1 of them. I think. So I think we'll be leaving political at 1. Right, now on to production. Well, we've got forced labour, which I didn't use the last time, and I wondered if that was a blunder or not. I can't quite work it out. Nobody made any comment about it, so. Anyway, move 1, replacement marker 1 box to the right. So I mean, we could leave our Luftwaffe where it is, play it, and then that bumps it up, and that unrest -1 as well for that. That only costs 1. Right, we've got options here though. We've got strategic bombers, which is a 2 cost, and that is the strategic bombers. It's got a -1 modifier on it as well, so that's good. And then the other option, however, is Project Tiger and Panther, and we can do this now because USSR is at war. That's a prerequisite. Development 2 Advanced 3+. Cancel the effect that combat event card new tanks. Well, I've not seen what that does yet. It sort of feels like the strategic bombers isn't that important. We're rarely getting up to the 3 marker anyway, but I can't play both of them, but I could play 1 of them and forced labour. I think we should probably go for this, shouldn't we? So well, if we bump that to 3 then, what does that do for us? What we set up there, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, that was the other thing I hadn't considered. I mean, we can move this down. It drops our fanaticism, but we've got 2 cards in our hand that's going to boost fanaticism. And we just got a boost to it there, so might not be a terrible idea. However, if we play with that 3, if we play forced labour, we're getting to move 1 of these up again, so we could. Well, we don't need. No, just leave it at that, Grant. Did I not say that's 14? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, we can leave it at that. Play the forced labour and either move our Luftwaffe up, which I think we probably do, or a strategic warfare. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to leave that set at 3, I think. The production directives. Well, let's make sure you are. Is there any bonus to leaving it at 2? See, it feels like it does the same thing, doesn't it? Because if I leave that at 2 and don't play forced labour, I've got 1 point to spare. I could move this up to 3, which does the same thing, doesn't it? I'm not quite sure when the... It feels like there's a better way of using that forced labour card. Because there's not an urgent rush to get -1 on unrest right now. I suppose if it was up at 2 right now, I suppose then it maybe would be worthy of using it. Then again, if I use it now, it means it's down at -2, and isn't that just the same? It's going to take longer to get up. I don't know. Well, yeah, why not just do it? And then, well, you're just about to move into that step anyway, Grant. I was going to say then you can think about if you might want to increase that rather than that, but I'm going to have to do it now anyway. Okay, I'll leave it at 3 then. So that is 14, isn't it? Yeah, right. Moving on. Well, that's the next step, isn't it? 36 minutes. Yeah, I'll probably just cut this as a shortish part and just get through our directives here. So, production directives. Right, well, let's not mess about then. So we've got 3 in our production directive costs. This costs 1. Unrest -1, then move 1 replacement marker 1 box to the right, and then this goes back to the production directives deck. So unrest -1. Move 1 of our replacement markers 1 box to the right. I'm going to go for the Luftwaffe. I think that's the better option. And then this card just goes back in the deck for the next year. It's a good card. You can see yourself playing that every turn, can't you? And then we've got 2 points left because that was only 1. So we're going to play... Yeah, I think we need to get this one kicked off. So we're going to play Project Tiger and Panther. Cost 2. Prerequisite USSRs at war. Development 2. Advance 3+. And then when we get there, it cancels that effect. So we play that. And we get the marker for that. In a second. Alright, so Tiger and Panther project. So that goes on the project track. So its development is 2 and we need a 3+ on the dice. So it comes in actually on the same bit as where that is. And now we're going to roll the dice, and we need a 3+. So hopefully we can get this going. Yes, 5. So that succeeds, bringing that down to 1. Nice. So hopefully can complete that next year. No, hang on. So I'm not just go back in your hand. Yeah, because I thought about this before, and then I thought, that's going to take ages if it's every year. No, that goes back in my hand, doesn't it? Doesn't it? So what are these? These are projects. Projects 3.2.1 in the rulebook. Where are we here? 3.2.1. After playing a project card, including the first time, and roll dice. If it's moved to a completed box, if the die roll fails, or the project is not completed, which is what happened, after a successful die roll, the project card is available for play on later turns of the year. Head of production may play it to attempt to advance. Yeah, that's right. So it does. It just goes. This goes back in my hand, and I can play it again next season in the summer. Excellent. Okay, that was our production directives. So political directives. Well, yeah, we say at 1. We can play 1 of these. So either reduce unrest or increase fanaticism. I suppose we'll increase fanaticism, I think. Obviously these cards have better abilities if you're playing with a I think this is in the co-op game as well, but I can't remember. To be honest, I've not really been paying attention to it. Where you get prestige points. A prestige point to every player for each head of army group he controls, that one. So is that one. But I'll just play... We've got it at 1. I'll just play this one. Commando Order. Status of France is Vichy. It is. I suppose better playing that in case that changes right enough. Yeah, good point. Let's get that out of the way. I don't know if it changes in the game or not. Yeah, it might do. I don't know. Anyway, we'll play it now while it's there. So +1 to fanaticism, and then the other bit doesn't matter. So our fanaticism is now up to 6, which will enable us to maybe knock that down a bit and still feel okay about things. Right, that political directive is finished with the game. The other 2 go back in my hand. And that was that. And then military directive, to finish off here, we left that set at 1. So we are going to do Sonnenblumen / Ada, which is offensive in Libya or Egypt. There's no prerequisite to this. We need to be able to place a pawn in 27 or 28, I suppose. So I suppose that needs to be able to be done. Which we can. We can place one in 28, not 27, but 28, an attack from the Middle East. So I'll just leave that card there and put the 1 pawn on it. And that's that. Right, this will be a short part, won't it? So moving on to the operations phase of the spring of 1942. We're going to come back to strategic warfare. I'm just not looking at these cards anymore. Right, so I found myself making mistakes when I done that the last time, but I'm trying to get in the flow of the game though, you know, you wouldn't maybe think that, I suppose. The videos are still lengthy, aren't they? Well, there's a shorter video there. I could go on a little bit longer, to be honest. Probably do have another 15 minutes or so in me, but I think it's a better place to stop there. I can come back later to this operations phase. And then to think about, well, strategic warfare, who knows what will happen with that. Movement, yeah, we've got a bit of movement. Well, we're going to have to decide if... I suppose, again, this comes from more plays of the game. You're going to know when it's likely that they're going to land here, and maybe could leave southern Italy and northern Italy empty and make the benefit of that the satellite armies and have a stronger force either in the east or down here in North Africa and that, Middle East, Egypt. Yeah, I don't know. Suppose you could look at the combat cards and see what it says in the landings. I feel like that's maybe a little bit taking it too far and not Grant-like. But folk that have played the game before probably know where the landings are going to start. Again, if you know the history completely, you're probably going to know as well, which I'm not keyed up that much, you know. I should probably learn more about it all and how it all went down, but well, France, they didn't go into France until 44, didn't they? So it's unlikely that that's going to happen until 44. That's when you get that second landing marker, so it gives it more likelihood that they're going to go there. And I guess on the card, it's going to prioritise these areas in 44, whereas 42 and 43, it's unlikely to see any of that. But I don't... Maybe if I went away and listened to some... Well, actually, I've been listening to a podcast, the World War II podcast, for a long, long time now. I think the guy's been doing it for... Well, it's over 10 years, I think. I started watching it, obviously, way after he'd started it, I think. But I'm slowly getting through it. I mean, he's going right through the whole thing. So he's probably got another 10 years to go, if he can make it that long. Ray... I can't remember his... Actually, maybe it doesn't say his surname, but his name's Ray, I think. It's good, but I'd struggle to retain all that information, you know. Some bits do stick, but I've got pretty poor memory when it comes to... It just seems to go in and not sort of stay there. And drift away. So there's probably been a lot of talk about how some of these things worked. But, okay, I've went on a bit too much there. Right, I'll be back later with the next part. Okay, cheers.